into the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Arkham. Now, let the buzz begin!
Yes. Wow. I'm
Batman.
Bow! Bow! Hey!
full season.
Full season of Batman Gotham AfterBuzz. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. AfterBuzz TV, your one and only spot for your favorite show, Gotham. This is episode 4, Arkham. I'm your host,
Right.
Ryan Hooks, and you are here. We are live. To my left, Joyce Ajouri,
Hi, everybody.
Steve Kauffman.
I'm here minus a goatee.
He's looking a little skinny.
His face is naked.
He's naked, baby. In the booth, Nando dropping the ones and the twos. What up? What up?
Oh, that's perfect.
That was good timing.
That was really.
I couldn't do that again if I tried. I'm never going to try that again.
I know this isn't a Batman podcast, but that music still gets to me.
Every time.
I love it.
I was just feeling it. Well, because, we sent out that tweet the other day or today, I don't remember when it went out, about that the Gotham got the full nod.
the full 22.
And it
That's
said,
right.
no, Gotham. Because they got the full 22 order. So they're doing so well that they are now getting the second half of their season.
I'm so happy to hear that.
Awesome for us. Awesome for Fox. That's great.
The show is really good.
We get to see a back nine of the show.
That's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
It's good to. Last week I talked about the emails that I've been getting about the ratings and such from the DVR ratings and also the on-demand ratings. Gotham did drop to number 2 in this week's rating, but they are still number 2 and they're above a lot of shows. There's 20 shows on the list. The show that beat them out this week was the new Thursday hit drama, How to Get Away with Murder.
Oh, okay, thank you.
okay.
We're not.
Yeah, I was waiting to see if anyone picked up on it.
I actually that was what I was
it's actually
thinking.
a very good show.
Yeah, I heard it's great.
But it is beating out Scandal, which those are the people Scandal, put the show out, so
Yeah.
they're beating out Scandal. Gotham is, that is. So first off, shout outs to TJ Scott and his beautiful work tonight. Director of tonight's episode 4, Arkham, and also he's director of episode 6. A fan of AfterBuzz. Maybe we can push him hard enough to come in. He's been here a couple times before. I've actually
Tweet at
interviewed
him, you guys.
Tweet at
For
TJ
us.
at TJ Scott Pictures.
Hashtag Scott at AfterBuzz.
Ooh.
I don't know. It could be a thing.
Nice. It
Let's
could be
make
a thing.
And then we can get other Scotts.
We could.
We can get Ridley Scott.
Yeah, we're just getting all kinds of Scotts in here. I was thinking Scott Baio, but that works too.
All the Scotts.
Every Scott in Hollywood should come to AfterBuzz. Let's talk about Gotham
once.
instead of Scots.
Yes.
Great Scots, man. All right, so we start the episode off with Cobblepot. Where we left off basically last week in his arrival. He is Peter.
Yes.
Peter oh crap, I forgot. Humboldt.
Peter is Humboldt, and he arrives at the Gordon abode.
Yes.
It's really Barbara's house, I think.
Well, we're gonna learn.
We'll find out.
Where Jim is sleeping next week will be the Gordon.
Well, TBD.
And it's
of what's going
definitely
down.
not on her couch because he is out of there. For now.
For now. We'll get there. I like that he just shows. He's growing on me so much. I know we've been talking about liking him, not liking him. He just makes me smile. There's this a goofiness about him that is funny, and there are little things that I pick up that I'm when I'm watching and then I see that it's just makes me laugh. Like when he was in the restaurant and he's called out to talk with Maroni, he does this little stutter step at first that makes him walk like a penguin.
Yeah.
But to have the conscience of mind to do that,
Yeah.
and then just barely pick it up, it's interesting to me, and I like it.
And even that tiny piece before he leaves to just truly clean himself up, and where it's he already knew he's walking into a big promotion. The way he cleaned himself up to walk out there.
Totally.
And we'll get more into that here in a little bit. But so basically, we get this whole aspect of Cobblepot trying to help Gordon, and he trusts Gordon, I guess, and wants to help him because he sees him as the only pure source, which is interesting because he's really trying to tear down Gotham, but yet he wants the opposite. He wants to light in the dark in his city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I like about Cobblepot is that he really appeals to everyone's sympathies. We, as the viewers, know his background, we know his motives, and we kind of know his story based on what we've, watched and seen in Batman world in the past, but he really appeals to their sympathies. He's really good at manipulating people, and I don't think Gordon wants to trust him, but I think eventually he will trust him because he will be so good at twisting his words and just making him feel like he could be someone he could trust.
Well, same reason Major Crimes trusted him. He's
True.
probably the only.
Well, and there's a frailness to him that makes you feel like, yeah, what's he gonna do, kind of thing. Like he doesn't fit your mold of someone that would do anything.
But he's also so endearing, and he's so, what's the word? He just has this innocence to him, even though he's really not. But you kind of get that sense from him, just the way he talks to you, and the way his mannerisms are, and the way he smiles, and just gets all coy. But it's all a front.
Well, like I said, he's grown on me. So
Totally.
kudos to you, Robin Lord Taylor, and your work. And we talked about last week, he didn't even know going into the audition what he was auditioning for, and he had already put this perspective and this audition together before, and they told him like the night of that.
By the way, that character's the Penguin.
Yes.
I'm assuming is the way the story goes, which good on him to be like, well, that's
fine. And he kept his audition the same way he was doing it, and again, we were getting kickback from people here and there about not liking him or not thinking he fits the mold. But what is the mold at this point?
Well,
this is a whole new mold.
It's a whole mess. There is no.
And I mean, if the Danny DeVito Penguin is the mold, we're already not even vaguely to that story.
True.
This Penguin grew up as a baby, not with penguins. Not
with penguins.
Not with penguins. So
Absolutely.
we're already a completely different world.
He gives some truth to Gordon, which I like, and he says, that the people here don't trust you, and they don't tell you everything. Everyone doesn't tell you things because they don't trust you. That being said, can the Penguin or Cobblepot be trusted?
I think to an extent. I think he can only be trusted until he gets what he wants out of you, and then he'll turn around and just be, completely different. I don't know. I don't fully trust him right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't trust him.
I kind of do.
Really?
There's this, I don't know. The fact that he's willing to like go to him and like tell, I want to help you and I'm here to help you, and here's some things that I'm going to give you that will show you can trust me. And I don't feel like he's someone that backstabs someone who hasn't done something to him.
But why would Gordon stick around once he finds out that Penguin wants to basically take down Falcone?
Big picture doesn't matter. I mean, if there's a war coming, does getting information from the Penguin on either side, does it make a difference to what's going to happen to Gordon? Is it this evil or this evil that he has to decide with? You might as well decide with the one that has your back and best interest and heart.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a good point.
It brings up an interesting
conundrum.
Yeah, a little bit where you just
we're in a paradoxical world here, guys. There is quite a paradox.
I love Enigma's little appearances.
His
They
little
make me
cameos.
so happy.
I know what a paradox is. Which one is it?
Tell me more. So we find out that there's a war coming, essentially, and it's a war about politics and money. Which is, and this is good because Cobblepot is giving information to Gordon that Gordon doesn't really think about or doesn't see because he's not in that corrupt world. He's not someone who makes political moves for money or for power.
Yeah, and
Clearly, he's a detective of the GCPD. What's he thinking? But it all equates to Arkham.
Yeah, which we're finally getting that answer. We're finally getting that answer of, my guess is that's why the Waynes were killed, is that they were blocking, they and all their money into the Arkham thing probably cut out these two factions.
Like Maroni wanted that dump site, and so he sort of put a hit on the Waynes to kind of get that.
One way or the
Or
other.
Falcone didn't
Either.
Falcone didn't have a piece of this until the Waynes were dead. Both sides have.
But they still kind of had an alliance. I would assume that the Falcones would have that loyalty, whether or not they liked the family, they respected them. I feel
And
like
he
they
said
would
that
have
too
loyalty.
in the previous episode where they worked together. They were from the same neighborhood, is what he said.
Yeah.
And there was a respect for that. So is it more Maroni or is it more Falcone?
I'm gonna say Maroni.
I think they both have equal motives.
Nando, got any thoughts on if it's Maroni or Falcone involved more than one or the other?
Well, I didn't see the episode.
I know you didn't. I'm just asking you for your 3 cents in there.
Well, I don't know.
Well, then I guess no one's going to know, and we're going to have to wait and see what happens. We're going to find out very soon.
I will say that David Zayas, I just hate his accent. I will say that.
Me too.
I hate his accent. He still sounds like the Cuban
It's not
lieutenant
convincing.
from
I'm sorry.
Dexter. From Dexter. Yeah, it's not convincing at all.
It's not. I was actually going to comment on that, but
I I like it. All right, so we get our first incident this week in terms of our overall story. Councilman Jenkins is attacked and killed along with one of his people by a name we don't know, but Gladwell is the character that is introduced later down the episode. Hakeem Kakazim. So I'm saying, shout outs to him. I'm glad he actually, I tried to get him to AfterBuzz, but he actually lives in South Africa.
Wow. Cool.
And he was on Black Sails last season, and
nice.
it's coming up on this season. And that's also interesting because TJ Scott directed episodes of Black
Bunch
Sails.
of-
So there's all this like
bunch of
small
cool
world
stuff.
of Hollywood
these
and all these
connections.
things.
But he can't Skype. He can't.
We tried to do the Skype thing. We just didn't. There's a huge time difference.
Well,
That's okay.
Getting him in here after AfterBuzz. Anyway, it was cool to see him in another role. I like seeing actors in a role that like you like them, and then you see them in another role that's totally different, but you still like them. That's like a tribute to him and his abilities, because I really liked the character of Gladwell.
Yeah.
Like there was just like a presence about him.
And in the No Country for Old Men, that's the first thing I thought. Just
The shot and the spike in the eye.
yeah, just
I was watching. I was like, he's gonna shoot him now with that spike. Don't do it. Don't put it to your face. Okay, you're dead.
yeah, that's
And it shot him right in the eye.
It's a pretty sweet weapon, though, I have to admit.
That was pretty cool.
I liked him. He was, as a character, I thought he was really cool. I mean, just in that evil sense, he played it really well.
of just
Like
and
no remorse, no mercy, and that final scene before he got killed was pretty cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Except he gave it away. He should have just killed him.
I know, he was like,
Go for the mayor. Take out your kind and be done with it. You can't kill him. That's the problem.
yeah.
He's too nice. He's too kind. Richard Kind. Get
so
it?
Maroney was ordering all the hits.
So I don't know. Let's talk. Do you guys have a theory about who is behind it all? In terms of, so the initial story goes that Falcone and Maroney both ordered hits of these councilmen, one way or the other, and it was to offset votes so that either or plan would go through, but they each killed one person, and the mayor murder failed. That's when Gladwell gets caught after they find out who he is, and they find out the real Gladwell has been dead for 5 years, but it creates an interesting paper trail, which I like that part. That's really cool. Like, how awesome would that be to be a hitman? Like, oh yeah, I'm this guy, but really this guy's been dead for 5 years and nobody knows who he is or cares about him, so they just think it's a person.
Yeah.
Could Fish Mooney be involved in that, you think? She was kind of on the sidelines this episode, but I wonder if that fact will pop up and be like, oh, she was busy doing this. That's why we didn't see much of her.
But I think the only thing we know about who hired Gladwell, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know
Gladwell,
why I was thinking that wasn't it. Why? We don't know who hired Gladwell. We know that he played both sides of the ball. I think it was Cobblepot.
I think it was too. But
Could be.
Here's an interesting thing though, is when Gordon explains that to SN and Bullock, they don't seem surprised by the fact that this contract killer could be hired by both people for the same thing to kill different people, and he's probably just like, whatever, it's money.
Yeah.
Like, that's interesting that is not the issue. Like, that's the least of their worries, the fact that there goes my pen. The same person is killing everyone.
So you think that he stirred up this whole thing himself?
I think
hiring
Cobblepot
him from both sides.
Think about the way that the flow of the episode went. If he hired this killer to kill one person and they pinned on Falcone, and then he hired him to kill another person, which they pinned on Maroney, and then he has this quote unquote fake heist that happens at the restaurant, which A, gets him 2 bags full of money, B, gets him promoted at work, C, makes him look like a hero because he got one bag and hid,
and D makes it look like retribution for the hits he may have orchestrated anyway.
That's true.
and maybe that's what they want us to think. Maybe they're doing it intentionally, that it's really not what we think at all. But that to me is the most logical.
Yeah, especially for how much of a maybe we're giving Cobblepot too much credit at this point.
But there's also Fish, who wants to take down Falcone at this point. And even though she's not necessarily siding with Maroney, she still wants to bring Falcone down. So whatever she could do to do that, she can do that with Maroney's help, indirectly or directly, and then take care of him later.
So let's talk about Fish. So Fish this week, the only little bit we see her is basically she's auditioning singers for the club. Now, in the trailer, and I tweeted about this and we were talking about it on YouTube, they were like giving this dialogue that they were almost like creating a new character for us, or not. They're bringing in a character that we didn't know yet, but it just played off like someone that we should know. And I didn't get that feeling after watching the episode. But do you think that this whole concept with her, so auditioning these 2 girls and then having them fight to the death, and looking for someone with certain attributes, is part of a plan.
She's looking for a second her. Like maybe she's looking for someone
Maybe.
to take her place when Falcone finally does kind of, meet his demise eventually. She could take his spot somehow, and then she'll have someone who's just like her, kind of taking her
Perhaps.
her spot.
okay.
I disagree, but I have another theory. Go on.
Go ahead.
Continue.
I'm pretty much done.
I actually didn't have a theory, but that one sounds about
Okay,
right.
so here's my theory on this whole Liza. So Liza is the character that is auditioned. She's the one that we get the most about. That's her name's Mackenzie Lee. That's her real name. And so my thought is this: if you remember a couple weeks ago, our good friend Laszlo got beat up.
Yeah.
And then in retribution, Fish Mooney had Falcone's girlfriend beat up and mugged. Now, is this a situation where she's grooming someone to institute her as a new prostitute / girlfriend for Falcone, but working for her to get A, information, B, potentially put a hit out when they need to take Falcone out, and C, someone she doesn't care about if they get taken out. But she has these killer attributes, and if she succeeds, great, bring her back. If she doesn't, oh well.
It's not a bad theory. But
That's-
we're hitting prediction territory right
I mean, I'm just getting into thoughts about like what the whole
No, for sure.
Yeah,
So as I was sitting there thinking about it, and I was like, man, I wonder if they're just like using this as because they built it up, like I said in the trailer last week, to be someone that we should know, like a character that maybe was in Batman before, but we didn't know yet, but they're introducing, and then it really wasn't. It was really kind of a letdown to me in what they said and did with her, but it could be someone they're instituting for something else.
Possibly.
that sounds, yeah.
I'm just throwing spaghetti at the
That's-
wall to see if it sticks. See if it's done.
See if it's done.
It's not done. All right. So the mayor is talking about this week the whole Arkham thing, and the reason we get the whole plot is one faction wants to turn this new Arkham into a state-of-the-art facility with cheap apartments. Another faction wants to turn this into a dump, basically a compost heap and all that.
And we get a compost heap with low-rent apartments.
Perfect.
Which sounds
mean,
like
it's-
the worst place to live. If you live in those brand new housing units,
I feel like it's
next
already
to
there.
a freaking dump,
And
that sounds like the worst place to live.
and a brand new facility for the criminally insane.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
That
Exactly.
I don't want to live in that neighborhood.
No.
I think only the worst kind of people are going to want to live in that
I'm
neighborhood.
sorry. I got to side with the Waynes on this one.
Well, the Waynes, it sounds like the Waynes knew what they wanted. It's
Yeah.
like, well, no, you just make it a well-run place for the criminally insane.
Yeah.
And just rehabilitate the criminally insane. And you won't have criminals.
Well, if I know anything about Arkham, that's not going to go so
Nope.
well.
well, with the Waynes dead, of course not.
Absolutely not.
It's
When it brings up a fun point, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to do with Arkham, because there is so much about Arkham throughout the series in the past, and where all the villains live or come from, and
Yep.
how they can introduce characters that are going to be in Arkham that become, we have the Scarecrow
Yep.
and different characters that are going to come out of Arkham, possibly consistently escaping. They need to work on security at Arkham, I think. That should be step number one.
Yeah.
well, apparently, not if a criminal got the contract to refurbish it. Like that, there's going to be plenty of holes that all of his group, like
Can get in and
all
out.
of his lackeys can just get right out of.
And we get more of this information though from Gordon as he's talking with Alfred, and that's in the whole episode with Alfred and also Bruce Wayne this week, are them talking about the plans that the Waynes had, and especially what Martha Wayne wanted, as a way to rehabilitate the people of Gotham and a way to help Gotham, and now it's not, and I think it just shows the weakness of the mayor for sure, because he can't handle pressure from either of the sides.
He kind of seesaws between two different
That's
things.
why he does both.
He wants to keep the peace for
Everyone-
himself
everyone is
between the
happy.
two gangs.
Mostly, he's safe. Mostly that's the
he
biggest
wants
thing.
to keep himself safe. Yeah.
All right. I think that Edward Nygma's cameo this week was nice.
Yes.
We didn't get any Catwoman this week, which I'm disappointed about.
I think she was still there. I'm long holding a theory that every time something's happening in the show Gotham, Catwoman's just up there watching it. And one day she's just going to come in with all this information.
That's a possibility.
I saw this guy, and this guy. And we still don't know exactly what all she saw
Yeah.
during the Wayne's murder, because she said she did see him before he put the mask on, but then she also escaped because, Gordon was in there getting the wallet and all that stuff. All right. So with that being said, we get this whole plan then to kill the mayor also, which we kind of talked about a little bit, but it all leads back to a piece of paper that was found on the ground that said CLM. How sloppy was that? If you're a serial killer, CLM.
It was such a terrible loose end that he could have prevented, from dropping.
Unless it meant nothing. If I were a serial killer, I'd leave clues like that.
You puzzle over it for hours.
What is it? It's just like, it means nothing. It means you're gonna stare at this while I go kill more people.
I think that was actually my favorite shot this week, though, when they're in that back storage room, and then Gladwell is up against the wall with his spike in hand, and then you can see over his shoulder Gordon coming around the corner with his gun out, like looking and like trying to see if he could see him. Then you see the bookshelves in the way. Like that was just.
And he spots the weapon and he backs off, or he stops from like approaching him further.
I don't think he saw him at all.
No, you didn't see him at all.
Because he wouldn't.
It felt
he
like
wouldn't
we
have,
saw him.
Wait, Gordon didn't see Gladwell?
Didn't see him
No.
at all. Or
That's
Gordon
why
would have kept going.
He wouldn't have ran out when Bullock called him.
I was under the impression that he did see Gladwell and he wanted to sneak up on him, but he saw the weapon. And since he didn't, he was kind
Gordon
of alone.
He would have never left that. He would have never left the suspect alone.
I had a totally different thought when I saw
Mind
that scene.
blown. What? No, I think Gordon, if even with a weapon, Gordon would have proceeded.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's true.
And gone after him and tried to take him down because that's Gordon's thing.
Yeah. I just want to say this entire episode, well, they all have been beautiful, but this particular one has been shot so well.
That's
The
totally
lighting,
TJ Scott.
the scenery, everything was
his
so
MO, for sure.
beautiful and grandiose and dark, and it really fit. It just fit my image of Gotham perfectly.
Yes.
That's totally TJ Scott.
And the
all
scene
day.
where, I know we'll get to this later, but where Barbara and Gordon were talking at the top of the balcony in the station, that was a gorgeous
Well,
scene.
if you notice, a lot of the shots, and I was picking up on this, there's like a backlighting that's coming at the camera, which gives like this sort of eerie glow, sort of darkness to it.
We get it, guys. We want TJ Scott on the show.
Listen, I love TJ. He's such a great guy. He's so nice hanging out with, talking to him. He has a lot of good stories because he did Hemlock Grove as well. So he's done a lot of great work. Let's keep stroking his ego and maybe he'll come in. All right. No, it was a very beautiful shot episode, and I think it's been my favorite thus far, minus the fact that Selena Kyle wasn't in it.
Yeah.
But we did get Barbara Gordon.
Your fave.
She is my
Is she
favorite.
still your favorite?
I mean, she's my favorite to look at.
That girl needs to not hound Gordon about secrets when she's got so many secrets under her belt. That is not okay.
Snap. Well, and that's good. So this week, her little part was showing up and asking Gordon, and it's funny because after she met Cobblepot, she's like, who is this Cobblepot fella that you guys are talking about? And so we get the whole backstory about her having the affair with Montoya.
Well, they were in a relationship.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Well, Montoya came over and kissed her, so technically they are in an affair right now.
She didn't let her, though. She turned her face.
But she still
She's still there. She still let her.
It doesn't matter. Montoya's going down. Which we didn't get done this week either. No Ellen, no Montoya. Major crimes are busy doing other things.
Busy
tormenting Barbara.
Yeah, busy hassling Barbara. I think
not
major
finding
crimes,
evidence.
I think major crimes is their strategy is to figure things out 3 episodes late and then hassle Barbara. I think we're going to see that at least 2 more times.
Yeah.
They're going to hassle Barbara and be late.
Where major crimes figure something out. It was probably 3 episodes ago, and they're not going to do anything with the information.
Because they don't investigate at all?
Yeah. They just...
Well, I mean, last week nobody investigated the fact that the balloons come down.
I know, that blew my mind. I wasn't here last week for that episode.
We talked about it.
But I was like, okay, you guys covered it. So
No, we talked about the fact that like nobody figured out that the balloons are going to come down.
Nobody Googled
really?
weather balloons?
You have smartphones, right? Maybe?
Yeah. Well, internet in general, but...
They're making this timeless.
That's true.
It's like this timeless time.
I guess it depends on what's in the show.
It doesn't matter. It's logical that any balloon that goes up is eventually going to come down, especially with a body tied to it.
Well,
So do you think Barbara's not going to let Gordon in for a while? What's it going to take for Gordon to have her...
This isn't the end for Gordon and
No,
Barbara,
of course not. But at this point... I mean,
she's gonna get over it.
You think he's gonna? I don't think he's gonna tell her what she wants to know.
And that's smart.
Well, I think long play wise, I think 3 to 5 episodes from now, this city might break him to a point that he's like, "I love you so much, and I need a person in my life." But this is what's happening, and I trust you with this information because I need you in my life.
I trust Cobblepot more than I trust her.
But doesn't she also have the power to find out this information herself if she really wanted to? Doesn't she have the pull somehow?
Gordon's the only one who knows Cobblepot's in town.
I mean, she doesn't have to know just about Cobblepot, but about anything.
Actually, it's either going to be that or it's going to be at some point at some point Montoya is going to come back and show a picture of Cobblepot, and she'll go, but that guy's alive. He's been to my home.
Yeah, I see that happening more.
And then she runs back to
Yeah.
Gordon and realizes that he's just trying to protect everything.
Yeah, I think she'll find out somehow, not
yeah,
from
I'm not
Gordon.
saying, if she finds out, it's not going to be from Gordon. I feel like, especially after he told her the information, and he said, I've told you information before, and she runs to the paper and calls the paper, that he's not going to give up, because that's making him look bad, and he already doesn't have any friends and nobody trusts him, so he doesn't need anything else to make his work harder. So keeping her in the dark to me is the best way to go.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, I wouldn't keep her. I'd keep the light on her all the time.
wow. Let's see if she lets him stay there. I'm curious where Jim Gordon could afford to live by himself.
Where would he go? That's true.
Christopher Nolan's house.
Oh, fair enough. That's
He'd
Sorry,
stay
I
with
couldn't
Harvey
resist.
for a while.
He stay with Harvey Dent.
Harvey Bullock.
Oh,
oh, that
maybe.
would be fun.
Yeah, that would be fun actually.
Or Christopher Nolan's house. But Christopher Nolan's house only exists in a dream, in a dream, in a dream.
That's not real.
That's not real. And it's all Leonardo DiCaprio's dream. That whole movie was Leonardo DiCaprio's dream.
Anyway,
Yeah.
let's get back to this.
Let's talk about Inception.
Back to Gotham. Bruce is having bad dreams.
Aw,
Oh, poor
I
little
know.
Bruce.
He said he had nightmares
poor Lil Wayne.
before.
And Alfred's not in them. So I'm
Not this
actually
time.
I want to see more with Bruce. I think that he's gonna figure something out. Like I feel like his
totally.
diligence
Yes.
in because he's got nothing to do. He clearly doesn't go to school.
I guess he gets homeschooled. Alfred probably homeschools him.
He seems to be teaching him everything that he's been learning lately.
I think
Yeah.
Bruce
aside
is just
from
kind
the
of figuring it out.
detective work, but Alfred's been teaching him everything he's learning.
Sword fighting, cooking.
Yeah.
That's all you need to know.
Death metal.
British military style.
But yeah.
I think that there's going to get information though, and Gordon keeps going back to Bruce to get information, or Alfred as well, because they just have this insight that he could never have. So I feel like Bruce is going to figure something out that's really going to help Gordon.
I wonder if he's going to figure something out and think that Gordon was incompetent in doing so, and maybe not
And
kind of work
Not
with
trust him as much.
Not,
then-
yeah, kind of, and just not want to work with him. I know we're not at the end yet, but Bruce even said, like, do you even believe that Gotham can be saved? And I don't even think Gordon believed it when he said it's worth a try. So I feel like maybe Bruce will figure something else out. We'll figure out something out on his own, and then just kind of be like, well, you didn't really help me, like you said you would.
I could see that.
Which could also then create that anger, the wedge between them, and the hatred that's going to create Bruce Wayne into Batman.
I don't know if he could ever hate Gordon.
Well, not hatred. I'm sorry, just wedge something between them that makes
Yeah.
him want
Yeah,
to do it on his own.
Yeah.
Or the lack of trust in Gotham. The lack of trust that's just like, no, everyone in Gotham is
But
bad.
they'll still have that respect and understanding that they have in all the other stories that we know in this universe.
That they work together because they have a common goal, but they have different means about getting said goal.
Yes.
Vigilante style.
Oh, yeah.
That was my battering.
Your battering sound effect.
That sounded more like a transformer.
My cup just turned into a transformer. No, it didn't happen. So, do you think that Maroni, with this aspect of this episode, coming in and having this plot to help get this stuff in Arkham, what is the ideal situation for him right now? Because since it was a joint split vote, he doesn't gain anything. He's gonna get a little money maybe, but he hasn't really gained anything. And at the episode he said he did, but I see it as something trivial.
I feel like he gained a little bit more than Falcone. I mean,
Yeah.
he now has the rights to do whatever he wants with Arkham, correct?
Yeah, including
Along with the dump site that he wanted. So he could probably use that to his advantage. If he could control Arkham and control the people in it, that could cause a lot of trouble for Gotham later on in the 22 episodes that we have.
And this is a win for Maroni because Maroni before the vote had nothing.
Right.
He had zero, so now he gets all of this.
I think it's less of a win for Maroni as it is more of a loss for Falcone.
Totally.
And Fish said it in the episode that, it's showing him as old and weak.
She is so
Now-
happy that he lost his
There is a new power play.
entire
What's her plan B? What's Fish Mooney's plan B?
What I said earlier.
Yeah.
What she she wants to bring down
Liza.
Falcone, and Liza's going to be in her life to take over her spot when Falcone's gone. She's not necessarily going to side with Maroni, but she's going to be okay with the fact that he'll probably indirectly help her with bringing down Falcone. So that's what I think her plan B is, but we'll see. I feel like it's a little more complicated. It'll get more complicated than that.
Do you ever see Fish rising to power?
Not this season.
For a very short while. I think she will rise to power for a very short while. She'll get a little too cocky about it, and something will go wrong, and she'll kind of fall back a little further than where she is now.
I see her finding windfall between these two factions, and once this war is over, finding like better footing, but ultimately
Not in power.
not this season.
Yeah, I don't personally agree. I agree with you, Steve, that I don't see her becoming to a point where she is the boss, like where everyone's like, dude, Fish Mooney, she's in charge. I see her again, gaining power in status, but still being under people
And never leaving that club
No.
ever.
Why would you?
I wouldn't.
I'd just hang out, get hot women singing at me,
I'd hire like 15 Lizas.
singing at me.
I
I'd
just
have
want
a
to
street
say,
fight,
Butch had the best job this episode.
standing there.
Just standing, watching other women seduce Fish.
Which-
He's just like in the corner, like, oh.
Is it this Wednesday or
Wednesday, yeah. Wednesday.
this Wednesday.
Wednesday, the actor that plays Butch will be in AfterBuzz Studios doing a spotlight on interview, so you can tune in to that.
Yes.
Cool.
I know it'll be available. It'll be on our podcast and information. You can also go on iTunes and find out information about everything that we do. You can give us ratings. 5 stars are always the best. You can leave us
True
comments
dat.
on YouTube because we like to read those. I like to comment to them. I actually was really bad this week about commenting back. I apologize to those people.
I was good about reading the comments.
Yeah, I read a lot
I
of them.
read all the
I usually
comments.
comment back to all them as well.
was-
This week has just been,
I wound up doing
Rough
4
week.
shows last week.
I have a 4-week-old baby at home. She
Well-
was crying a lot this week. So
Well,
I
then
know.
it's impressive you read any of the
Yeah. I do when I'm at work. Unfortunately, I should be working, but I'm reading comments on YouTube.
whatever.
When I'm driving in the car to and from work, that's really what
That
it
is
goes down.
illegal.
No, it's not. You know what else? You should just go on iTunes while you're driving, and you should give us 5-star ratings.
Like a
And-
full-on review. Like three 2 sentences, not enough. You need to write paragraphs.
Listen, if you can order Pizza Hut pizza while surfing, you can review us while driving your car.
I don't think you get cell reception. I don't think you get that good of cell reception out on the waves. I don't buy that.
I don't believe Pizza Hut's gonna deliver on a Sea-Doo either.
No,
but
I think they'll do that. I think it's the
they're hurting for business. All right, let's get back to the task at hand, which is talking about Gotham, which is me going back to Cobblepot. So he's promoted to the manager this week, which clearly it was a strategic play in his aspect because we know that he hired them, and I actually thought at first that he killed all the people until they showed it all.
yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that was he'd kill them and then
You just
pretend to
figured
hide.
that they weren't even that important.
No.
So it was like, well, of course he killed all those people and took the rest of the money.
I feel like he had one bag hidden out back in the dumpster and one bag he was holding, which we found out that he had the 3 hitmen that he hired.
Yeah.
And they were the ones that killed everyone and took the money.
Although in typical Cobblepot fashion, I doubt he actually hired them. I'm pretty sure he just told them there's this much money. There's this much money at this table at this time.
Right.
You can have this much of it, and then if you leave me in a freezer with one of those bags, that's the plan.
Yeah,
Which
possibly.
I guess Gotham, it's
I mean,
really
he's-
easy to find just 3 mercenaries.
But he's also that manipulative.
That too.
He's convincing. He can be very convincing and conniving, and I'm sure an idiot thug like that would listen to Cobblepot anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I agree that Cobblepot is convincing. And I'm glad that he is our first villain thus far.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm enjoying, like I said before, everything that is building up with him and everything that has happened. And I want to know more with him and Gordon. Like that's to me the most interesting thing is his connection and relationship with Gordon as that develops.
I wonder how much more he's going to vie after Gordon's commitment. Like, how much more is he going to go after him and say, just trust me, like, I'll help you? What is going to be the stopping point for Cobblepot to be like, fine, screw you, I'm over trying to help you out, you clearly don't want this, I'm going to rain havoc over your world?
He's gonna need both Gordon and Bullock's help once Fish Mooney finds out he's still in town.
That's true.
And I think that's all he's after.
He's gaining trust for protection.
He's gaining trust for that protection.
Because it's gonna happen.
Yeah, like that can't not happen. He'll keep rising to prominence in
Especially
town.
now that he manages a successful restaurant.
Well, I mean, Fish Mooney never leaves the club.
That's true. No, she does. She goes up to the back alley to have the women fight.
Yeah, you're right. That was outside the club.
That was total
just out
fan service.
That was perfect.
I'm watching with you two
that
guys.
was my
I'm
best,
like, oh god.
the best scene. That was the best scene.
I just loved that. Not Liza, the other. I think she's just girl.
They didn't yell
Like that begrudging, just like
taking her earrings
Girl,
off.
hold my earrings.
it's like, but like neither, like she didn't seem too happy about it. She's like this is what I got to do for a job. I mean, whatever.
I guess. And then she got her face busted in. Mm-hmm. All right. So, do we have more stuff we want to talk about? I feel like we got pretty well covered this week.
Yeah,
think
really.
so.
I feel like the plot was sort of limited in what happened.
was-
There was more development about Cobblepot and Gordon's relationship.
It's a bit of a bottled episode.
It was
this week,
very
but-
bottled, I think. And we have power rising all around, which means sooner or later someone has to hit the roof.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
This
So,
is true.
do you guys want to make some predictions for me?
I actually,
Yes.
Or wait, hold on.
Oh,
Oh no, you played the music. It's too late.
now we're into.
You have news and
now we're
gossip,
into
don't you?
predictions.
I just have a list of people that were revealed to show up in the future episodes. We can do.
We're predicting that this is gonna happen for real.
Yes.
Okay, go on.
So I was watching a video on IGN this morning, and I'm not sure how long ago it was posted, but one of the girls interviewing the main writer of the show, I believe, he
Is it
confirmed.
Bruno Heller?
No.
He's not the writer, but
His last name started with a C. Victor Zaz
LM.
will be in episode 7, according to him.
I'm sorry.
Victor Zaz.
Okay.
A very young Harvey Dent will show up eventually in this season. And Tommy Elliott, there will be a Tommy Elliott who was Bruce Wayne's only childhood friend turned enemy. And he also becomes Hush later on in this universe. So he's going to show up at some point, and there will be some Court of Owls eventually in this season.
No, I wonder if
which
that
is really cool.
Since it maybe is a little bit older of an interview, I wonder if that's targeted at our first 13,
I don't think it's that old.
or if it's targeted at our back 9.
I think it's at least a couple days old, if
Okay.
I'm not wrong.
So it might have
So,
been.
yeah.
Well, and you know what? They might have already known that the season was getting renewed
Or-
before this interview happened, and then he said, "Okay, these are the characters we're getting."
I'm also going to assume episode 7 has already been shot.
Yeah, the
So-
first
For
13
the
are
most
probably
part.
done.
Yeah.
If they're still in post,
Or-
maybe, but they've been filmed.
Yeah.
Have they all been? I would only think the first. Because we're on 4.
Yeah.
So I think the first 8 have probably been filmed, and then they'll finish the 13 by like Thanksgiving, so everyone goes home for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Purely
Over-
guessing.
over
I don't
break.
know.
Could be.
And then you get a long break, and then you come back, and then you do the rest, perhaps. But
Yeah.
I think this show they kind of knew they were going to get a full season.
I think so too.
Or-
Coming in because Fox is, they don't have a ton of great drama shows on right now, in the aspect of some of the other stuff that they're competing against, which is great. They're doing so well.
Yeah,
So kudos to them for taking the number 2 spot this week in the DVR.
Yeah.
and they're
Having
getting on
such great
they're
ratings.
getting on the sci-fi train.
Finally
They've
getting it right.
Finally, this full season order. I'm taking that as a step in the right
Which
direction.
means
There's-
more of us.
Yes.
Oh yeah. So now let's do predictions.
That was-
right.
Yes, I was waiting for the music again. Keep calling, Endo.
I thought he wasn't going to give it to us. It was he
I know.
just chimed in like, "You already got it."
I was like dancing and ready to go for it, and
You missed I did news.
I heard that. Oh, we're all kinds of bass awkward in here.
Bass awkward.
For the eighth time. For the
The
eighth time.
explosion just threw me off at
was-
the end.
It was fine. We talked over the whole thing.
It's all good. All right, predictions?
Yes. So I didn't. When we were watching our DVR cut off, and I didn't see the trailer for next week on what's going to happen.
I'm so bummed.
Making our
So-
predictions more impressive.
Very blindly.
We are going blind into this, ladies and gentlemen. Steve, you can go first. Make it hard.
I don't think I have anything that I haven't said, but I do feel Cobblepot hired. Why do I keep looking? Gladwell. I think Cobblepot hired Gladwell to create an even heightened sense of a war that didn't exist, but he didn't want Gladwell to kill the mayor, and this was all a part of a heightened sense. And Gordon, I think Fish Mooney in the next 5 episodes will find out that Cobblepot's in town. Go after him. Cobblepot will side with Bullock and Gordon. Bullock and Gordon will have to help him. And
that's an interesting thought because Bullock has such connections to Fish.
yeah, And then that would get
true.
weird for them, but I think by that point, Bullock will have to trust his partner and what's happening.
So do you think that then soon, if that being said, if 5 episodes is your prediction, within the next 2 to 3 episodes, Bullock has to find out that Cobblepot is alive?
Yes. But to do that, Bullock would have to give up something to Gordon in order for Gordon to trust him at all. Because Bullock, whatever happened with the Waynes, Bullock knows something. Whatever Fish Mooney knew, whatever they had the frame up for, Bullock knows, and Gordon's not going to trust him Gordon's not going to trust him fully unless Bullock lets him in on what that is.
Well, and one thing I didn't actually totally kind of skipped over this, but another interesting fact is this week when Gordon was about to be killed again, Bullock saved his life again. This is like the 4th time that Bullock has saved him from something and like been the guy that shows up last minute. So I think there has to be some kind of trust and relationship developing with him because he keeps saving him.
Yeah. I think he believes in Gordon. I think he'll actually start showing it eventually.
And
I don't think he'll ever change, but I think he believes.
I don't think he'll change, but I think he'll just sort of be a little more trusting, understanding toward, like, show his understanding towards Gordon.
also, I think by the 13th episode, we will lose this current mayor, and Harvey Dent will step up. That's
As
not
mayor?
Harvey Dent's going to be really young, though.
Yeah, if they introduce him as a young
He's gonna be-
Would he be a district attorney?
No, I think he's going to be younger than that.
He would be
I would anticipate he'd be younger just because.
a county clerk. Just
I mean, isn't he
Mayor?
closer to
A
Bruce's
scribe.
age? I wouldn't say he's going to be Bruce's
no,
age, but
the guy they cast for him his name's Nicholas D'Augusto.
Okay, so
he
I
was
didn't know
on.
that.
He guested a long time ago on a show I write for called Top Story Weekly, and he's around our age.
Okay,
So
fair enough.
Harvey Dent's going to be maybe not mayor age, but he'll be
late 20s.
Yeah.
late 20s.
He'll be Cobblepot age.
I guess Cobblepot age. So I still think he's going to somehow try to be mayor.
Possibly.
That was my prediction.
Joyce?
I'm gonna stick to it.
I said most of my predictions in the middle of this podcast.
Yes, we know.
We did a lot of that. But yeah, I do think that Fish is going to, find a way to bring down Falcone for good, whether or not it's with Maroni's help, whether she asked for it or not. And I think Cobblepot is going to continue rising in the ranks of this gang that he's all of a sudden a part of. And he's just going to wreak more havoc and sort of turn against Maroni at some point and make this war even worse.
Ooh.
So
Oh,
worse
yeah.
for him too, possibly. I just spit on the table.
Yum.
Well, yeah.
I said this before too, and I think that Liza is going to be involved in Fish's plot. And I think it's to take out Falcone. Like, I think that's her target, and the reason she's looking for this person for her own personal gain, basically to use her as a pawn. And I think that I agree with you that the Cobblepot is going to rise more so even in power with the Maroni faction. And I think that he's going to start getting in Maroni's ear and causing Maroni to do things that's going to help. Because I think the Cobblepot is the war. There's this war coming. It's because you're starting it. You are the one who's creating all these side things that are happening that are causing this war. So I think that because what he knows about Fish and her desire to move up, Cobblepot that is, and what he knows about Falcone already, now he's getting in on Maroni. He knows stuff about all 3 of them, and he's the one that is kind of pulling all the strings, I think.
Could
never
be.
thought of
He
it that
could
way,
be the
that-
puppeteer in this whole thing.
So now that he's getting in on Maroni, he can help use the stuff he knows about Maroni that he already knew about Falcone and Fish Mooney against them in a sort of weird way. And that's why I go back to my thought that he hired Gladwell to kill those people to start this war.
Yeah,
Because it puts them against each other. Even though they think the other person did it, he's really the one that did everything.
that totally makes sense.
I like that. Yeah, that
Mastermind at work.
tear him apart in the comments if he's
You
wrong.
please do. All right,
guys.
that's our show. Can I get some music? Gotham AfterBuzz TV episode 4
Yeah.
Arkham.
Yes.
We are rolling out of here. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back next week for episode 5. But until then, Steve, where can the people find out more about
People
you?
can find me on the Twitter. I'm at Steve Kauffman. That's KAUFMANN. I'm shaved because starting this week, I'm going to be doing stand-up comedy as Captain America.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. Joyce.
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Joyce Ajouri. That's Jajouri. And on the Sunday night Walking Dead podcast.
Oh,
and
snap.
on Tuesdays,
Don't tell me I haven't watched it yet.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. podcast. It's really good.
I'm sure it's amazing. Monty Bolanos could not be here at Monty Bolanos. Hit her up on Twitter, Instagram, and as always, you can find me at RyanHooks92 on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, the interweb.
He's so connected.
I'm so linked into everything. Put a books. All right, on that bad joke, I'm out. We'll catch you guys next week. Later.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.